So, very good morning. My topic for today is disrupting the agriculture industry with biometrics. So, basically, from childhood, we've all known what is agriculture industry, but we just feel that agriculture industry is just like crops. But it's not just crops; it includes poultry, livestock, fishing, and definitely crops. And knowing that nobody can survive without food or other veggies and everything, so we say that the farmers are basically the source of civilization. Means they're basically the backbone to our civilization. As if they're not farmers, we won't be getting food at all in a way. So agriculture is a really important part of any nation. And then talking about biometrics. What is like biometrics? Biometrics is basically defined as technical term for body measurement and calculations, but we are talking biometrics in terms of technology that we will be using in agriculture to enhance agriculture industry for our personal benefits. So talking about one of the benefits which we've seen, biometrics has been proven really a lot of help to agriculture industry. First and foremost, we can actually use biometrics to forecast the yield of wheat which is based before sowing the wheat. So technically, we can actually, realize with the use of biometrics, we can actually find out how much are we going to yield the wheat production this year or in this season, what will be the production exactly, and we can accordingly manage our exports and imports and forecast further things which are related to the economy. So if the forecast is done way beforehand, this really helps the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of distributing the amount of produce equally in their nations. This also helps Ministry of Revenue, because definitely production gives revenue to the government as well. So in accordance, they can really plan out their budgets and everything of the year. Then Ministry of Trades, because definitely our nation, it's not that all over the world everything is grown in every country. So some countries produce some things which are not produced in the other country. So definitely our Ministry of Trades can actually use this, because accordingly then they can plan their imports and exports of what they need and what they have in excess. After this, coming to another point, we know that farmers have been really having issues with the financial things, because there's so much corruption in the system, and somewhere while the money is allocated right from the top source, it just doesn't reach the exactly same way to the lowermost source, which is exact farmers. So when the government issues funds, a lot of fraud people are sitting there on a fake ID, which really does not let the money reach out to the farmers exactly directly. So with the use of biometrics, we've seen in India an Aadhaar card was made, for an example. So in this Aadhaar card, what the government did, they really took made people sit with their exact details, their latest pictures, and along with the pictures, they used their fingerprints and iris scans for the authenticity. And likewise, they linked their cards to their entire banking details. So all the bank accounts and everything they held were now linked to Aadhaar card, which really, to a lot of extent, stopped the corruption parties from claiming the funds allocated on fraud names, but rather they reached the right people, which were the farmers who were actually in the need of money. Because of this, because then there was not biometrics used in farming, so before that a lot of farmers faced so much issues in their daily life, and we even saw many farmers committed suicide because of this, because they were not even making, like, they were not even able to have the daily breads. So after having this biometrics use, a lot of things improved for farmers in terms of getting right funding. So if we talk about the funding part only, still there is a lot of middleman involved. So if we want to think about like 10 years down the line process, so we thought of that, why can't a biometrics be produced in such a way that the farmers will just get out, the farmers will just get the direct money from the government. There will be no requirement of the middle parties like traders or landlords or anybody, but the money can reach out to the farmers directly. So in this, we think of an advanced stage of things like Aadhaar card, which can really be allocated. Like the farmers can directly be in contact with the bank on the terms of the fingerprints and the iris scans, and there can be technology developed which just goes directly from farmers to the banking system, so the money allocated on banking system directly reaches out to farming. So before the use of biometrics, here we used to see that the funds which were allocated to farmers would be transferred to the middleman. Oops, sorry, I missed the arrow. Transferred to the middleman, and the middleman was the person who would decide who will get the money. So if the middleman is a corrupt person, he will definitely put all the money in a fake account, which basically can be his own or her own relatives, or her own or his own personal identities, which are made as farmers, but they are fake identities because nobody is directly holding on to them. And so the money will go to the middleman in a way, because he'll just show nobody exists, or either he'll say there was nobody who came, or either he'll just produce fake IDs, which will be given. The money will go there, and very few, if a middleman is a sincere person, the money will go to the farmer, and that's how the system would work. But after the use of biometrics, the funds will be directly allocated from the government, which will transfer to the bank itself. There will be no middle person required, and the bank will inquire on the details. So the money will stay in the bank with the for the number of people allocated, and then the bank will verify the details of the farmer on the basis of biometrics and check on the authenticity of their identities, and then the farmer will claim the money. So if the identity matches, the money will be given to farmer, and then he withdraws the money and it goes back. If the money, if the identities are not verified and claimed, so that will the money will go itself back to the government, and then it can proceed back to the bank for the further processes. So that is how the biometrics is helping us in making our agriculture progress more and improving the agriculture economy for everybody and for ourselves. Thank you.